Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so the LA Lakers are interested in Brook Lopez and Eric Gordon. Now, I know I walked back my Brook Lopez desire earlier today, but since they're already on board with it, it's not like I'm going to push him away. I've been on record saying I want Brook Lopez at least 8 times on this channel and just kind of changed my mind this morning based on his age. That's it. But all in all, I mean, if they bring in Brook Lopez, he's going to be tremendous for us, especially if he plays anything like he did last year. If we have a chance to get him under price range, because I don't want to pay him no $20 million a year at this age. That's really what was holding me up when I started seeing he wanted 18 to 20. I was like, oh nah. But I mean, that's kind of the going rate for him right now. So, um, yeah, you definitely need to get more size down there. And I think Brook Lopez is a good piece when you consider the issues we've had. So that's a good idea. Eric Gordon, for us, I like the piece a bit better than I liked him for the Clippers. I didn't like him for the Clippers at all because they were letting um, Kennard go and bringing him in, and I just felt like that was the wrong direction for the timeline that would ultimately make me happy if I were a Clipper fan. So my thing is for Eric Gordon to be leaving the Clippers, that's a good extraction for them because they saved $1 trillion doing so, and now I believe he would be on a free agent contract that we can give him something like what we would want to give Bruce Brown. I don't know. I'm not paying him the same amount I'm giving Bruce Brown necessarily. I am not doing that. So that's the only thing about Eric Gordon. I think he's actually going to be a better piece for us than he would have been for the Clippers based on our needs. Um, just overall fit, I think would be good. So I like him for us so long as we got him on a price that we like. If we don't have him on a price we like, I don't like him for us because he is an aging player. But he's not crazy old to where I don't think he can help us a lot with the things that he does. He's just not his old self, but he's still a very talented shooter, and he would help a lot on the offensive end. And I think he can do some things defensively, from what I understand. It's always a question mark for me, but I think Eric Gordon has proven himself to be a really, really good player over the years, and I'm not opposed to the Lakers bringing him in at an affordable price. So that's how I feel about that. Of course, my Brook Lopez take. What can I say? It is what it is. I just am not overly thrilled about getting so much older, and that's exactly what bringing those two pieces in would be, us getting so much older. But we do want to have some vets, I guess. You know how I feel about that. But the going mentality is you got to have vets to win. They need to be here to help the young guys, so bring them in to do so. I just don't agree. But nevertheless, let's do it. Let's do it. Hopefully, we can pry Bruce Brown away from the Lakers. From what I understand, last I read was that the Lakers are growing their confidence that they will be able to get him. They're growing confidence that that might be a thing he'd be willing to do. So hopefully, we can do that instead of going the Eric Gordon route. I think that would overall be better for our team. And Brook Lopez would be a solid center. He's already played here once, so we know who he is. We had him back when he was like 28 years old. We still saw exactly enough to know what we're going to be getting here. Um, and he has NBA championship experience since, so that's really cool for us from what we're trying to do. So, yeah, I get it. I get what the Lakers are doing. Also, I understand that some of these vets have to land somewhere. That's what also comes to mind when you start thinking about some of these dudes. A lot of the young teams that are popping up left and right, they ain't gonna have rosters. They're not gonna take them. So if these dudes are not out of the league, they're going to have to land somewhere. And that's what's going to happen. You're probably going to see certain teams on the timeline that we're on just happen to grab a couple of these dudes, whether they got anything left or not, just so they don't be out the league this season. And, it is what it is, man. It's just, like I said a million times over on this channel, no country for old men in the NBA. It's just not. Uh, if you are not a very good player and you're very old, you're very gone. um, if these GMs know what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, they just can't trade you for nothing in a market full of young kids. In a market full of ascending assets, you are a dead asset if you cannot get better. You know what I mean? So that's what it really comes down to, guys. On that upside, the teams have mortgaged too much to even deal with you. They don't have the patience and they don't have the assets to bring you in if you're not going to absolutely help them win or absolutely get better so that they can trade you for more. That's really what it comes down to, man. I'm just being really honest with a lot of people who probably are not quite ready to embrace that mentality yet. But that's just what it's going to be going forward. And so You know, I don't know if I got it wrong. Maybe there's some years left for these guys that can really contribute or what have you. But the speed the game is about to be played at soon with these new athletes coming in, I think it's going to be a little quicker than some of these dudes want to keep up with. They got to be able to hit their jump shots, that kind of thing. So, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Lakers if they go the vet route. It seems like they got the right idea with the type of vets they want to bring in. I just wonder if they're going to be there in the end. If we're not signing guys that we're not going to have because of injury or just because we end up trading them away or what have you. I just know better. I know better. Some of the players that you bring in thinking they're going to do a lot for you, you end up having a Patrick Beverley type situation. So I just want to make sure we're doing the right things. Obviously, Brook Lopez with his size and weight is something that we need to try to address in order to have any shot against a Jokic, any shot against some of these big dogs. So that is another reason why you must bring in Brook Lopez, because he's going to come in at a good smooth 270. You know what I mean? So that is very important. That is extremely important right now. Valanciunas is a name that comes to mind as well. I don't know if the New Orleans Pelicans are going to go forward with him, but they probably don't love his contract. I don't love it either, that kind of thing. But again, heavy, huge person. Definitely somebody you definitely should be studying if you're the Lakers and trying to acquire. If you can't get Brook Lopez, maybe it makes sense to try to swing for Jonas. But these are the type of pieces that if you don't have in place, you don't have a shot against some of the players that we've already mentioned, the big boys, Joel and Jokic. You just don't have a shot as far as I can tell. You just have to be big enough to guard these guys. And so right now, I don't think the Lakers are. I ain't going to ask Anthony Davis to guard these people going forward. Not going to do that. Jokic already ran through him once in the Western Conference Finals at this point, and that is not going to be something that we want to see another time over. So that is why you hope you can get a player like that, and then you furthermore hope they can stay healthy for the season. It's a lot of hoping. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at, LA. That is our situation. Of course, LeBron James, reacted to the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know whose mock draft it was, but Atlanta was the team in that mock draft that ultimately landed Bronny at 17. Way too early mock drafts for his year. But Bron said, see you in the ATL or something. We'll be down there or something like that. And, I just know that LeBron James is serious. Wherever his son's going to be drafted, he's definitely going to be there. So the Lakers need to consider that, man. He's letting us know right now. He already got his mind on that. And maybe it's Atlanta, maybe it's another team, maybe it's us. But that's who he wants to play with. And not long after that, Bronny said, I can't wait to prove all y'all wrong. He doesn't think he's going 17. I'm going to tell you right now. He's trying to zoom up that draft board. And I have a good mind to think that he is going to be drafted in the top 10 because of who he is and what comes with him. It just is what it is. So that's what I know. 17, doubt it. When that draft day comes around, I legitimately doubt it. That's all I'm going to say. That boy going to the top 12. Top 10, top 12, buddy. Yeah, that's happening. Unless he has a disaster of a start to his USC career. That's the only way. If he has a healthy season, does what he's been doing, and if he keeps on the trajectory he's going, somebody going to definitely take him early. That's happening. So, with that being said, I don't think the Lakers can get him without a lottery pick, to say the least. And so, yeah, there is that. You're going to trade Jalen Hood-Schifino for him? That's probably, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how they're going to do it. But that's the kind of thing that you're going to be looking at that point. Just being completely honest with you. And at that point, they probably going to want more than that because they know what's on the line for the Lakers in the event that takes place. So if we're not thinking about that type of stuff, Rob Pelinka, I'm telling you, I'm already there. And let me tell you, this is why I trade him now. I ain't going through none of that. We ain't doing none of that. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't doing none of that. Because that is 10 times more headaches than I need. That's 10 times more headaches than I need, y'all. Especially since I don't think I have a good path to get the kid any damn way. I don't have a path to getting that kid. I ain't even got a lottery pick next year. My lottery pick likely goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. You think for 1 second the Pelicans ain't going to draft Bronny James? They will draft him on our behalf. You know what I'm saying? With our pick. So like, nah. My thinking is do this now. I ain't waiting. I ain't waiting because I see where this is tumbling forward. He's already hinting around. He already got one foot out the door, and I'm telling you, I'm with him. I kid you not, man. There's too much equity out there in the return for LeBron James. It's just too much. When I think about all these teams that are gonna want to get him, just get his son, just to get him, they're gonna want to do everything they can to get him now. Why wait? The Lakers are sitting on him like we're gonna win a championship with this core that we about to build. I don't see how the hell you gonna do that. I don't see how the hell you gonna do that. The only thing that I think really puts this team over the hump in terms of like being a championship contender, honestly, is Kyrie Irving. Just like it's been. If you don't land that piece, we're not sniffing the championship. I'm just being honest with you. All the stuff that we got going for ourselves, and it's a lot. We've already seen the ceiling of this team, and even if you bring in a couple nice young players, and you've done that, you bring in a Bruce Brown, maybe that raises the ceiling. But I know better. I just know better. We're not quite that team right now, and our core is not going to ascend into being like that unless things change dramatically, as to which I don't know how they could change for the positive when you're considering guys getting into their 30s and late 30s at that. I just don't know what Genie is going to expect out of them in the short term. I don't know. Me, you know what I'm saying? I don't find myself losing hope as the season progresses, especially if we're a good team. I'm going to be into it from night to night to night to night, just like I always am. But I tell you, I see a real field full of really good young teams and some vet teams and some super teams. We're not the best of them right now. We're just not there. And even if we play to our highest point, unless we're building something I don't see us building, Brook Lopez, Bruce Brown, and everything we had from last year it's not. So I'm not saying we're where Chicago is. You know what I mean? It's not that kind of lost. But still short of the championship with what you have, in my humble opinion. And you guys know I'm realistic. I don't gas up my own team. I don't do that. I think we are a contender, but I don't think we're one of the more strong ones. And so, you know what I mean? We gotta be honest about it. And you know what I'm saying? We want to build a champion right now. We're gonna have to get some stuff in here that's cost worthy. And with what it is that's in front of us, I don't see that being the case. Austin Reeves gonna be likely given a real handsome amount. Rui Hachimura, they're gonna probably try to hit him with a poison pill contract. You got Braun, you got AD. You're gonna try to sign Dennis Schroeder. I think he's going to want a little more money. Who knows? Maybe a couple years. Bruce Brown, cool. 12, that's your mid-level right there if he happens to choose us. But you bring in Brook Lopez at, what, $820 million a year at 36 years old? Well, how much you think you're going to trade for him? Get for him in a trade come this upcoming trade deadline? Do you think you can actually move him if you have to? For anything even close to $20 million? Like, let's just be real about these things. And so that's where my head is. Like, yo, I'm not saying tearing it all the way down makes any sense. But I'm not saying not tearing it down doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, if that makes any sense. If you're gonna blow it up, this ain't the worst time to do it. For the value of everything that we have, for the types of names that are going to be floating around if you do, for the teams that want to give up young talent and get old. You got stuff like that happening right now if you're the Lakers. You look at Portland and they trying to give away Scoot Henderson. It's like, yo, are we sure we're not trying to get in the sweepstakes? Dame, all he really needs is a Bron or an AD. That's all he really needs. You look at Houston and all that, they're trying to give up maybe James Harden, maybe Fred VanVleet. Do we not have a contract like that they can toy around with, whatever it is they're trying to do? And we could take, again, a handful of some of those good young players, since we got LeBron James. And LeBron James' name is going to definitely net you a future with that team and maybe a few other teams if you're trying to move him and what his value is worth. So it's like, I don't know if his value is actually that right now. Maybe we find out it ain't. But someone got to prove that to me. That's how I feel about that. The market's going to have to be unkind to LeBron James to my face for me to believe that it don't want him. I don't believe it doesn't. So that's my thinking in regards to Bron. You know what I'm saying? He's already telling us. That's my thing. It's like if he wasn't posting like that, I wouldn't be thinking like this. But since he's posting like that, it's like, yo, this ain't difficult at all. I've been on board with this for 3 years. Let's move. Let's blow it up. Let's get back all the best talent we can get the futures, picks, everything. And all of this ride off into the sunset stuff, it's for the birds, man. It don't work for me. We ain't gonna win a championship doing that. Anthony Davis and where his motor is headed, I don't know if it's going to be headed upwards, man. Anthony Davis is an aging player at this point. He's an aging player with injury history. Great defensive player, necessary piece. Tends to not give a damn if he scores enough points to help his team win. That is a problem for me. Like, bro, we know you can give me 40. I need 24 from you to win, and you gave me 15. It's like I don't need you eating up that much of the cap if that's the production you're giving me. See, it becomes a contract conversation even with him. So it's like, yo, I got Austin Reeves and I got a fleet full of youngsters. All I really need is a core that makes sense for those youngsters. That's literally all I need. And maybe a few upgrades in various areas to make the team as good as it's going to be. With more young kids, obviously. Good ones. Like, I don't believe in dead timelines, bro. Especially for a team like the Lakers. If I were the Pacers, if I was Orlando, if I was Rockets, if I was, other teams that didn't have a championship before, that was chasing their very first ring. Of course I want this roster because it gives me a chance to get my first ring. Man, I got 17 of them. I'm not ring chasing. I'm dynasty building. I'm building something that's supposed to last for 40 years on a domination tip. I'm not interested in no one ring. And that is the difference between where my head is and where I think everybody else is pretty much at as it pertains to right now with this Laker team. I'm not interested. Like, you can give me one ring, but I feel like if I tear this thing down, I can build something that can possibly get more than that. You know what I mean? If I build with a proper foundation. Yeah. I don't have none of these problems. I got the best scouts in the league. I can draft well. As long as I keep these scouts around, I'm going to draft good. Whether I get lucky in the draft or not, these guys are proven. So it's like, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to do this. Now, if I didn't have any scouts, it's like, okay, well, we gotta lean on Bron because we're not going to be able to find talent no other way. But nah, that's not our issue. So it's like, why am I still doing this? Well, why? And that's what Genie's going to have to answer for me. Obviously, the answer is because Bron still brings us a bunch of money. It's like, okay, but is he bringing you championships? Because that's the brand. The brand is championships. It ain't dollars. With disrespect, everybody trying to get their money, but it's like that. The brand is championships. What makes us dope is 17. That's what makes us what we are. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we're just another team out here. And so that's what we need to be honest about. If we're not aiming for dominance or at least something that resembles stability that can build the hope of dominance, there's nothing. There is absolutely nothing. And so, like, that's what it is, man. I don't feel good about it. I don't like pushing people out the door when they're as great as LeBron James. But it's not like I'm pushing him out the league. He always got a spot in the league. It's just at what price for what can he do for my team? What can he do right now for me? And that's what he's going to have to answer. Because, the foot injury took a lot away from him, and I don't know that foot really is doing all the healing it needs to be doing right now. And so, what about Anthony Davis's foot injury? How's that going? And it's just like, come on. You know what I mean? When I can trade these dudes for a bunch of picks and have some of the best talent in the league over the next 3 years, maybe that doesn't make people happy. Maybe you're afraid we're going to turn into a Rockets and it's not going to go the way they wanted to for whatever reason. It's been that way for us before. I know people are afraid of that. So they just be mediocre instead. I mean, or close, but not close enough, which is mediocre to me. Like I said, the hope of a championship means a lot to a lot of people, but the foundation and the ability to build multiple championships is what really floats my boat. And I don't see that when my timeline is tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. I think I hit the nail on it. I don't have a chance to repeat if I do win it. That's the thing. See, you're talking to a fan base that's had repeats and three-peats. So it's like, if my window is to get one chip and then the stars run off into the sunset and they're happy with their one chip, I'm not defending it. I'm a Laker. I defend my championship. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what Jeannie's going to have to remind herself of when running this franchise, that if we're not after the repeat or the three-peat, that's also not part of our brand. Our brand is to repeat and three-peat. Like, the three-peat, that's what we do. So it's like, I can't build around a 39-year-old dude talking about three-peating. Nah, he gonna have to do some very unprecedented stuff in order for that to happen. And maybe LeBron's argument is, I'm Bron James, I can do the impossible. It's like, all right, brother. I guess I'm supposed to sheepishly follow that. Yeah, I guess that's my cue to shut up and let it be, whatever it's gonna be. That's hard for me. That's hard for me for a multitude of reasons, and so that's why I speak the way I do. And it leaves me on the wrong side of conversations that make me popular, I'd imagine. But I do not shake what it is that I see, and I see a ceiling that is below the NBA championship, and that, for a team that's trying to win the NBA championship, is not a good thing. For a team whose window is only 1 year left, that, for their core, that's not a good thing. The kids are gonna go forward, and see, that's the point. The rest of my team, that's why we're only talking about the court. The rest of the team around the court, it can go forward. They're gonna all get better. Can any of them get good enough to carry Bron and AD up to where they need to go? Nah. That's the problem. We have all role players, y'all. That's kind of why you take Cam Whitmore, because you hope he doesn't turn into that. You hope that because he was supposed to be the 5th overall pick, that he's not going to stay a role player, that he turns into a chief that can help lead the fray as those guys get older. Jalen's, that's not what you're projecting him to become. Now, if he turns into that, very happy, but that's not what it's going to look like right now as you're building it. So that's the argument for that. But that's what I'm saying, man. I'm not in the business of trading LeBron James for superstar A, though. That's the problem. I'm not in the business of trading him for Joel Embiid. I'm not in the business, because for me, that may get me closer to my one championship, but I still look at the mileage on those guys and feel a lot better about the mileage on the youngsters that I would otherwise get back in the lottery. And the culture that comes with building through the draft, it appeals to me a bit better, even though some of our best players have come in as, guys that we've gotten from other teams, obviously. So, we do a bit of both. I think for me, it's just wanting to make sure we have the right core going forward that aligns with a youthful timeline that can still dominate somehow. And I think you only find that through the draft. It's going to be hard to get contract players. You have to overpay for dudes in order to make that happen. You end up not having enough just the same. So all of these things are always in my brain, and I'm just not surface thinking about these things when I'm assessing why I want to move on from the King. I just think the risk is too bad right now. He goes down with an early season injury, all of the dreams, everything goes out the window. All these pieces we got that are good, they're just going to be there. And then we're going to see AD move out the way, and then we're going to look at this team and see what it actually is. Some guys are going to have some good numbers. We'll probably win about 27 games, 30 games if we get an early season injury. And it's just like, why am I signing up for that, fam? Why am I signing up for that without my picks? You know what I mean? So it's just, the risk is not, it ain't worth it for me no more. I still believe in these players as players, but not with an 82-game schedule attached to the situation. If we playing 37 games, for sure, I like our chances. 82 of them, I don't see a path to that ever really doing what it needs to do. Because we're leaning so much on AD and Bron to be their superstar selves, anytime they're not down there, our team is going to be missing pieces that are necessary for it to have in order to succeed. So I hope that we're able to keep good units on the floor without Bron and AD that can win some of these games against some of these really good teams. Because if not, you're going to see our team fall off a cliff anytime those guys miss any time. Then if we're not expecting Bron and AD to miss time, then what the hell are we doing? So I hate to be Debbie Downer, but I only give you what I have. I only give you the truth. I only give you what I'm feeling in a given moment. I'm not upset at any of the moves we're making. Some of the guys that we're going after, I'm pretty excited about bringing in. But when I don't see a championship ceiling, bro, I'm really one of those people that don't see the point. I literally, under these circumstances, certain circumstances, yeah, we're going forward. Okay, yeah, maybe we can build to something, or we really can't get better. We don't have, all of these different things can be taken into account from situation to situation. I'm looking at our situation, and I'm just like, man, I probably got a good chance of rebuilding something really good, so long as I retain all the value of the worth of everything I have. If LeBron James, my most expensive piece, can evaporate into nothing for any reason, that is a huge problem for a team like us. Huge. And him retiring or whatever that would look like is how that is going to be the worst case scenario in my head. And I just don't want to go down that path with someone who's my age, man. I can't stress enough. 39, 38. No. This is basketball, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. I've watched too many errors. That's what it is. I'm old as I said I am, and because of it, I didn't watch the good guys get old and leave. 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 This is not something that I've had to be confused about it. Anytime when a guy is on his way out, he is exactly that. He's on his way out. So when you know that, you just don't care too much about what it is he can do for you in the last 5 minutes if you know what your responsibilities are in keeping your team fresh. Okay, like the last 5 minutes, it's a sentimental thing. I don't care for when I'm assessing my basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Why would I? Honestly, why would I? So that's really what it is, man. Lakers got to think about what's best for them. And maybe this is what they see is best for them. And I think they're making good, careful moves to build properly around this team. So I would have more confidence in them. I would have the same confidence in them to build properly when it's time to rebuild. Same confidence. Confidence I didn't have when Bron got here, but now we're doing things correctly. So we don't necessarily need the training wheels, so to speak. I don't need them. We're good. Now we just got to get up and ride. So that's what I want to see our team do. We got confidence in Rob. We got confidence in the scouts. We got a young crop of players that are pretty solid role players. We got to find ourselves some young stars. And I would like us to rebuild, man. If we're not going to do it this upcoming offseason, if we're not going to do it right now, then do it in the upcoming offseason. But do it. Do it. Rebuild. And you don't need to do much in doing so. We're not trading kids. The rest of our team is a bunch of youngsters. So you don't have to do that. Now, once we sign Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, they're going to be big contracts, as we know. Rebuilding, you probably do move those. Even though we want to keep Austin Reeves, I don't know if the timeline makes sense once he's paid. But then again, it worked that way with SGA in OKC, De'Aaron Fox, Sacramento. So it just depends. Those are high-level players. It's all up to Austin Reeves and how far he ascends and what type of player he's going to be. But if he remains a role player and we have him on an absorbent amount, once that rebuild starts, he's going to be a price tag. He's not going to be a young player, and that's something to consider. So, yeah, those are things that we're talking about. We'll see if the Lakers sign Eric Gordon or Bruce Brown or Lopez. A few names that I think are available. Also, I didn't hear, but usually you gotta know that the Lakers are gonna pick up somebody that you haven't rumored to hear about. If you've been watching this thing for the last couple of years, like I have, you got the rumored names, and then it's the awesome name that Rob actually gets. That's just what the pattern has been. It's always something you thought was dope or kind of okay, and then boom, he gets you something that you weren't thinking about that was totally better than that. So that's kind of what I expect if we're gonna do anything in free agency, especially if we don't get Bruce Brown. I don't know that we're gonna get what we think we're gonna get, but it'd probably be pretty solid just the same. So yeah, that's what it is, man. I hope that my Debbie Downer conversation doesn't have people thinking that I'm down on the King. He's a good player, man, for us. He's been a fantastic champion for us. Um, you know what I'm saying? I'm just an ice cold Laker fan who knows when the fire is hot and we need to get the heck out of the room. And right now, this is blazing. It's blazing, man. LeBron James is getting to that point where it's like, is your focus even in Los Angeles right now? And if it ain't, why would I go forward with you this season? And so that's what I'm asking. Are we in Atlanta? Are we in retirement home? Basically thinking about watching his games in Atlanta from retirement. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because I don't think you're expecting to have an MVP season. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you're expecting to win a championship. So what are we doing? BDL 44. I thank you all for watching.